Really need that this morning. So I don't know about you, but as you can see, I've got on my summer holiday top. And this means only one thing, a distinct lack of focus. This, when I wear this top, I'm on the beach, I'm having coffee with friends. I'm most certainly not thinking about performance. So today we're going to talk about this time of the year. Why is it that we need focus around this time of the year? And what to do? How do we create that focus? And how do we keep everyone else going when actually we're kind of tired too? So, welcome to the next edition of the Performance Cafe. And if you want to watch the stream again after the fact, we post them on all our socials. So, we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, and a couple of others. So, just go to our websites and you will find us there. So, firstly, there's this big thing that makes no sense to me whatsoever, but it's a thing. So, here we go. In South Africa, our summer holiday falls over the Christmas and the festive season. So, what happens is the entire country grinds to a halt over December and January. And what's really interesting about this is that in this time, everyone right now will tell you, I am tired. I am overworked. I just want to go on holiday. I just want to wrap up what I need to, right? There's very little momentum right now to start new things. Now, the thing that makes this so interesting for me is, of course, if we were in the Northern Hemisphere, schools would have started for a new school year in September, and this would not have been the case. So when we get to this time of the year and people say to me, oh, I'm so exhausted, I'm so tired, I get it from the South African perspective. But actually, I wonder about the relevance of it. What if we decided that we weren't going to be tired by December, that we were going to take our annual leave in April? Well, then, if we were going to take our annual leave in April, we'll just work through December and January. So this got me thinking about the effect that this has on business, specifically in South Africa and other countries where we see the summer holiday falls right over this period. So, firstly, the big issue that I have is that maybe in South Africa it kind of works because everyone is wrapping up. But the problem is for today is what? The 30th of November. Sorry, I had to go and double check that while I was talking to you. So today's the 30th of November, and I've got the end of year vibe. Right, I've got another 3 weeks of work left, whether I like it or not. So here's the problem. I can't just sit on my hands for the next 3 weeks because I'm in the holiday mood. The problem is when we come back from holidays in South Africa, it's often 2-3 weeks into January before things start picking up again. So from an entrepreneurial perspective or from a business perspective, we see that here we've got 2 months that actually when we combine them, we're probably likely to get at best 50% profitability or productivity from both. Profitability, we wouldn't know, right? So there's actually much thought that needs to go into how do we deal with these times, because they do rob us of a lot of performance opportunity. But at the same time, we have to pay heed to this cultural norm of it's December and we're tired. So I thought we should take a look at how do we deal with those things? What are 3 practical steps we can do? So the first, I think, as always, and I'm forever preaching this, so it's nothing new, is clarity. What is it that really needs to get done in December? This is not the time to make up random bits of work for people. And I think if we're in a situation where, for example, we've got customers and they're busy wrapping up, so we're not going to sell any new products to them in December, maybe what we do is we create clarity around this, this time maybe being for departmental reflection. Do we start working on our strategy for next year? So that there is not make work, but real work. Also, reflecting at this time of the year is incredibly good. Because when we come back from January, we're going to actually have forgotten half of the chaos that was created or that we survived in this year. So for me, clarity is the ultimate right now. Is what's the 2 or 3 things that we need to get done in order to finish up and wrap up this year well. The next thing about clarity, and this is kind of the part B, is looking to January and understanding that if December is likely to be a bit wobbly, January is going to be off to a slow start as well. So instead of thinking, let me just get past these 3 weeks and get to my leave, what I need to be thinking is, what can I do in these next 3 weeks that's going to set me up for success in January? So for example, again, the example of not being able to necessarily sell anything in this time. People are busy wrapping up. Well, when we come back in January, maybe if I could have already in December lined up sales meetings at that point in time, I come back, I hit the ground running. And what's really great about that is in South Africa, many businesses have their financial year end in February. So actually, this is the time that budgeting does tend to happen quite a bit. And obviously, as we know, in sales of any sort, we want to know when the budgeting is happening for the next year. But we've got to be really clear. And I think here, the next thing is focus. Is the focus that we need to create, firstly, from doing a few things really well. This is not the time to find 15 extra things to do. This is what is the critical thing. And then how do I create the focus in the business so that everyone is aiming at the same point? So it's not clarity where this part of the company is building 3 widgets, that part of the company is selling 17 digits, but they've got nothing to do with each other. So it's about what are the things that our company needs to do, and then how do those golden threads get pulled through each area and create focus so that everyone is moving to the same direction. I think very often during the year, things can become quite scattered. And so what's really lovely is to land up, rounding out things, finishing them off nicely at the end of the year so that everyone feels this is what we've achieved. Because that leads up to my third point. And my third point is kindness. Now, when I say kindness in organizations, I think many people want to set their hair on fire and actually fire me, even if I'm not employed by them. But what we're looking at here is, how do I make this as easy as possible for myself and for my team members? So this is the important thing, right? You're not the only one that's tired. They're not the only people that are tired. Everyone is tired together. So what we try and do is we try and create an area that is frictionless as far as possible. One of the ways of doing this is understanding people's needs right now. And I know a lot has been said about remote work, and there are so many companies that are now post-COVID deciding everyone must get back to the office. But actually, if you ask an introvert whether they are exhausted and they say yes, and you go, would you like to work from home? You're going to get a thumbs up because they're so tired they can't deal with the external stimuli coming at them. So actually, by keeping them at work to enforce some form of discipline, actually all that you're doing is you're forcing them into a situation where they're already tired and now they have to use even more resources, even more psychological resources to remain sort of attentive and present and get their work done. If someone says, this is something that I'm not going to be able to do by the end of this year, well, then what you do is help them chunk it up into pieces and see how far they can get along that road. Maybe they surprise themselves, and by having that form of structure, it moves them along quicker. Maybe it at least gives you a guidepost to say, yes, this year we did 1, 2, 3, but we'll do 4 in January when we come back and it's quiet in any way. So this is not the time to bring out the big stick. It's more of a carrot event right now, right? So how do we make it as easy as possible for everyone to complete and do what they need to do? For all of those creative, innovative people out there, this might not be the time to shine. Put away those plans and bring them back in January when everyone comes back full of energy and verve and is ready to take on something new. So in short, the way to get through the next couple of months is clarity, make sure of what we need to do, focus, bring that into the business so that everyone's looking at the same thing and achieving and finishing off the same kind of stuff, and kindness, set up people for success. And then when all this is done, celebrate it, no matter how small the success is. And not just the success from the entire year, But the success when people put themselves out there, even though they were tired, even though they were ready for the holidays, to show you that they actually wanted to step up and that they could do a little bit more in the end, because there's nothing that breeds employee engagement like recognition, like being seen when they are actually excelling. So that's all from me for this week. I hope you missed me. I missed being on Performance Cafe last week. I was out sick, and I'm really glad to be back and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed now. And we'll be carrying on with a couple of these episodes into December, and then we might take off a week or so over the Christmas period, but we will let you know how that goes. Right. Doesn't seem as if there are any questions from anyone. So I'm going to log off so I can get back to this cup of much needed coffee that's going to get me through to December. And remember, we look forward to seeing you next week, Wednesday, at the Performance Cafe.